take away the Nidalee pick and play it himself.
Yep.
So it'll be the Sivir ban once again for Samsung. So I'm probably going to stick with the same Sivir and Azir bans. Now they may first pick Corki here, depending on whether or not SK Telecom tries to go hard on banning out Ambition. They're going to ban the Rise, which I really don't think was the problem last game.
Kuve didn't. He was good, but it wasn't the catalyst for Samsung's success by any means. Definitely Wraith on the Bard and Ambition on that Graves playing insanely well. So, interesting decision to ban that one out.
Yeah, definitely, in my opinion, not the reason that game was lost. I think if you play a more measured early and mid-game by SK Telecom, you can beat that team composition quite easily.
Yep.
But
Corki to follow here, as well as Varus, as the second bans from both sides. So won't be looking for that first pick. So far, Nidalee's still on the board as Poppy is the final ban from Samsung. So maybe looking for that pick for themselves. But question is, do they ban the Graves? Because I think Samsung would be more than happy to snatch that one up for themselves or the Kindred.
yeah, they will take one of those, depending on this final ban, and it will be the Nidalee.
So Kindred Graves available here for Samsung, but they're going to go ahead and lock the Azir, which made it through. So keeping that one still out of Faker's hands.
Alistar does make it through this time, banned by SK Telecom in the first game. They may look to take that. Long time, one of Wolf's best champions. Maokai also here.
Last pick, the Zed. It looks like Duke might just have a repeat performance here for the Maokai.
So Kalista was not picked or banned in either of these games so far, which is quite odd.
She did suffer some changes.
Yeah, she's fine though.
Still quite a viable pick, though. We saw, I believe Arrow played that yesterday quite well. Netted themselves a win for KT.
And still definitely something SK Telecom can play around. They can obviously take Kindred or Graves here and take Kalista Lysandra.
Yep.
And they're going to change it up, and they say, all right, we're going to take the Graves instead.
And the Alistar.
Graves is more impactful than Kindred in team fights when it comes to damage output. Just because he has all of that AoE. Kindred a little bit more single target focused, and it was Ambition with that AoE in those team fights that was so devastating.
Yeah, he had some really wonderful cues just melting the members of SK Telecom, specifically in that fight in the Dragon Pit where Baker just got pinned into the corner with nowhere to go. But second round, taking their time here. Thinking about what kind of team composition they want to formulate, especially what AD carry they want to give for Stitch. Could go for the Lucian. That's been a big staple pickup for JJ recently in the past.
Just go back to Kalista.
It's available, why not take it?
Yep, you have the big front line already, especially if you pair that with the Maokai. You know that they're going to be playing Alistar support, so you're not as afraid of a Trundle pick unless it's going to be picked into the top side. And of course, Bang will troll Cloud Templar, as he does every single game.
It never ends, and it never will. Some wonderful trolling by Cloud Templar himself yesterday for
that was really fun.
April Fools. It was pretty great. I don't know much about the image that was put up.
Oh, that's an old image from Brood War.
Oh,
with
wow.
Reach. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, not much of a Brood War guy. That was before my time.
Well, you missed out on the best esport of all time, so good job there.
Born too late, I suppose.
Yep, the VODs are still there. You can still go back and watch them.
But the game looks so dated. No, one of those. I don't care about graphics so much. But Lucian will be snatched up here to go into this Kalista for Bang. And Lysandra for Faker.
So they can take the Trundle away themselves and try and block a top lane tank pick, such as Nautilus, which has been one of Duke's go-tos. Of course, it will be the Kindred. That's not any surprise at all. Big zone control comp. Pretty standard stuff here from Samsung in the current meta.
Yep.
And they just blocked out Faker entirely. I mean, the Lulu's still available, but it hasn't been selected by SKT. And I thought they were going to go Kalista and Lysandra this game, but now that Kalista's been taken, they've had to go for a different pickup. But Faker just kind of goes in, ults himself, and allows Blank and Bang to play around the zone that he creates in the front line.
will be Rom and Kindred locked in here. So Ambition still getting okay.
Is this going to be Echo in mid lane or top lane? That's going to be the question because...
This could be Flex, but I feel like it's going to be top.
Yeah, I think it will be too, just because Faker is the Lysandra player on this team, but he's also been playing a lot of Echo and solo queue recently, and the tank Echo has been definitely making a return. A lot of top laners have started to pick him up. He's just been sort of getting these incremental boosts, and now he's more mobile than he was before with the lower cooldown on his phase dive in the early part of the game, and the bigger move boosts out of his passive.
Yep.
And you combine that with the lower cooldown on his Q that he got in the buff a few patches ago, so he has more reliable wave clear now.
We did see a tank Echo, I believe the first week that patch came out, and it was a very bad.
It was very bad.
Very bad tank Echo.
He's been further buffed.
Yes.
So that obviously is going to make him even more attractive. And it will be Duke and not Faker taking him. I really would love to see some. I really would love to see some Faker Echo. He was that was one of those champions when it was released. I was like, this is a champion I want to see Faker play. But he hasn't played very much of it, sadly.
Most champions are champions that you want to see Faker play.
Yeah, but to greater or lesser degrees, right? Like,
for sure.
Those highly mobile assassins, those are the fun ones to watch Faker play.
Yep. Which is why I wish we were going to see the Zed in the mid lane. But unfortunately, not going to happen today, or at least not this game. Game 2, though, Samsung versus SKT coming up. Alrighty, on to the Rift here for Game 2. If you're just joining us, Samsung currently 1-up over SK Telecom, looking to close out with a 2-0. And every game matters. A 2-0 here for Samsung would be extremely advantageous for them moving into playoffs.
Yeah, it would also put SKT in a really uncomfortable situation in the standings because they would fall behind KT. That would make playing KT even more impactful or more necessary for them to win. To maintain or to even get, I should say, a second place standing and avoid playing another best of 5. So yeah, definitely really crucial for both of these teams. Win from Samsung here would absolutely be huge for them too.
Yep.
Huge.
SKT though, probably going to have to use this double teleport to their advantage to try to get ahead of Samsung early. Ambition, of course, the jungler that wants to be able to farm. And what better champion to farm on than Kindred? We'll have to see how quickly he can get sated this game.
Yeah. So 11 wins for Samsung, or for any team really, is kind of the magic number right now.
Yep.
Because that puts them out of reach definitively of CJ and Longju and would force Africa to win all the rest of their matches. As we see a little bit of an invade here, but no real harm done.
Yep.
And so a win by Samsung here, because their last matches against Kongdu Monster, would mean that, barring a disaster, they would have a playoff seed.
Yeah. And I think it's a disaster that's very easily avoided.
I think so too.
Kongdu Monster, definitively the 10th place team here in Champions. After Spenu have looked rather good lately.
Yeah, shockingly enough. More like the Spender we expected to see at the beginning of the season. Took them a while to get it together, but can't ignore that performance yesterday. It was spunky. It was a little weird,
but it was quite fun.
It was very fun.
But now all of the players have their hands broken because their coach
that was so funny.
Gave them high fives that were just you could see them cringe before he even slapped their hand. They were just like, please no. He's like, give it.
I like how they became increasingly nervous as he went down the line of players and reluctant to give him the high five. That was my favorite part.
Yeah. Coach, please. We did good this time. We usually only get punished when we lose the games.
Well, I mean, that's the mild punishment. Yeah. It's much worse when they lose.
Yeah.
It's much worse.
The belt. No, I'm sure Spenu does not beat their players when they lose.
They beat them when we win. When they win, we know that.
Yeah. It's reverse psychology. I don't know how it works, but
It doesn't.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
Definitely does not. Well, good times in the lane swap. Faker getting poked out in the mid lane, as you would expect early on in this matchup. Crown going to be taking the cleanse this game just to deal with Faker's CC, but that does, of course, give them that double TP advantage.
You see Ambition take away this bottom jungle here from Blank, so doing a good job.
It's a little bit of a bold invade right there, but using the recall timing to get the deep wards in, that's the information that he needs. Duke still able to stick around in this lane as Stitch a little bit slower to make it out to the minion wave, so we'll be able to pick up a few extra creeps. A bit faster tempo. SKT. Not much of an advantage, and Stitch is going to make him decide he wants to get out of there and start meeting up with the rest of his team for another push.
Aggressive start here from Faker, going straight for the blasting wand.
That's actually quite surprising.
Yep. So, I mean, we'll still be able to build into an Abyssal Scepter, but wanting that increased damage, perhaps be able to clear out these waves a little bit faster, maybe have some more roam impact on the map. But
I think that's what he wants to do. I think it's mostly just about the wave clear and opening up opportunities for him to use his TP or to roam, as opposed to trying to all-in this is here, which the cleanse would obviously be challenging.
Yeah. Looks
You gotta find the people without the cleanse, Achilleos, and kill them instead.
Yep. Looks like it might just be a swap of towers here, as Duke just joined the rest of his team in that bottom side, so a little bit of a late arrival, but turrets should still go down at a similar pace here, as Kalista is not going to be very fast to take them down. Neither is Maokai.
And actually, SKT going to make a very quick exit out of this lane and then just go top.
Yeah.
Actually, instead of going for the dragon. So looks like they're going to looks like what SKT is going to do is actually just mass recall, take the Rift Herald, and then try and make a tier 2 tower push out of the top side. It's a little bold. Normally, you can see a change right there.
Well, the pings are coming through from Samsung, so it looks like they're going to go ahead and start up the Rift Herald themselves.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty delayed, though, for a tier 2 tower push. See how they defend this as SKT going to come in, clear out some pink wards. And they're going to take away that Rift Herald. That's smart when I think they realized what was going on. They weren't going to be able to actually, they weren't going to give up the dragon, so you can just take that Herald, see if maybe you can pick up the dragon on the other side. But SKT is going to have a pretty fast push coming in this top side, but at least it won't be Herald empowered.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, both of these junglers are going for the Tracker's Knife, so prioritizing vision for their team as opposed to skirmishing power.
Yeah, surprising for Ambition to do that, but
yeah, we've been seeing that adaptation on a few Kindreds. It's still very much the skirmisher saber that we see the majority of the time, but we have seen Tracker's Knife coming through recently, so
okay,
it's an interesting pickup.
SKT in this lane swap. Here comes the push. We already see Blank has set up for the tower play, and it looks like they're just trying to play a more aggressive, fast-paced early game with around the minion waves. This is what Ambition and Samsung did to them in the last game. Just made sure that the jungler was in lane, taking down these towers consistently.
Yeah.
And by not going for the dragon, they're hoping to get themselves a little bit more early game gold and a turret advantage as a result. That's what they're going to get right here. There's no way really that Samsung's going to be able to take that turret before anybody can get there from the members of SKT.
Yeah, and Duke still has a decent amount of wave clear with that Q that he can throw out. Gets double stacks onto all the minions, just a couple hits and they go down.
Yeah, you see the ping's coming through right there, but Wolf already on his way back, so he's going to be there to try and
Finger coming around the backside, twisted advance on the Cuvée with a flash away, trying to keep him alive, but the Frozen Tomb does come down and he's going to die. First blood going over to SKT. It's Faker that takes it in the end. Looks like they will be able to take down the tier 2, but still going to be a gold lead going over to SK Telecom.
Yeah, they have to TP right back into the mid lane to defend this. So I'm not sure about that from SKT. They could have defended their tier 2 right there instead of just trading evenly. All they really got was the first blood gold out of it. They also probably could have stayed in that bottom side and base raced the inhibitor and forced Samsung away instead of just giving it up. Once you get that kill onto the Maokai and Faker's there, why not just 5-man push into an inhibitor? You already have the speed to do it. No one left, actually. Wolf didn't complete his recall. So I think that was a bit of an error, actually, from SK Telecom. They gave up more than they had to, and they didn't take a big enough advantage.
Yep. Well, they do arrive in time to maybe pressure out and take this dragon. We see the base coming through. The recalls happened here for Stitch, who is on their own back. SK Telecom are going to start this up. Question is, do Samsung try to contest in any way, or do they just let this one go over? It looks like it's going to be the latter, as Ambition just continues his clear through the jungle, trying to get that Devourer completed so he can start the path to Sated. So SKT answering nicely with another objective take, so making up for what maybe was a little bit of a misstep and a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I think you just pushed for the inhibitor there.
That's fun. That was a
invisible blue buff?
Yeah, that's a very interesting hidden feature. I was like, oh, Blank doesn't realize that the blue's there. Oh, he's auto-attacking something. Okay. Just fun.
The unseen blue buff is the deadliest. Kilios.
Well, I don't think that Blank's in any danger of dying to that one. But still just happy little mistakes.
No, that's a spectator climb bug. Yeah. They can see it, guys. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, that would be, I think Blank would be very confused if he couldn't see the blue. That would be grounds for a remake. I can't kill it. It's not there. It says that it's alive. It says that it should be spawned here. I don't understand. Mission though, gonna try to fight him over this red buff. That's by Blank using that smoke bomb to deny the vision. And Ambition going to have to just pack it up and head out of this jungle. Faker actually going for the Rod of Ages, so not for the Abyssal Scepter as I first anticipated. Duke throws out.
Nice stun.
Nice stun there. Throws out the W, gets Kuve. He's taking a bit of damage. Trading back here. Duke actually just gonna fall. Kuve will die in the end. Can Ambition trade this one out? Blank very low on mana. Crown coming up to the top side, goes in. Lamb's Respite to keep Ambition alive. Bang coming in. You have to stay on that one, but he can't make it over the wall. Throws a tomb on a Crowd who's taking a lot of damage. Cannot get out of this one alive. And that's going to be 3 kills picked up for SK Telecom. Duke, the only one going down on SKT.
That play from Bang was awesome.
That was really good.
Just the culling afterwards, too, right over the wall to help line up the kill onto Crown, who flashed onto the high ground there just to try and get out of the way, but Faker landing the frozen tomb and
just in time.
So, wow, look at this. So, Duke comes in with a stun. Yeah, it did look good for Samsung at first. Of course, this Maokai doing a lot of damage to Duke. Duke doesn't have any MR yet, or armor for that matter, just that Bomby Cinder, so he's not going to be able to be as tanky. And then Blank going to come in here. Blank decides, oh, I cannot get hit by that Emperor's Divide, but then the heal flash on top of the Kindred and just waiting out the ultimate, and Faker there on the finisher too as Crown gets over the wall. Just beautiful skirmishing from SKT.
Yeah, and they take their first Rift Herald off the backside of that. So very nicely played. Looking more like the SK Telecom we were expecting from game 1.
Well, they decided to play a composition where they can actually skirmish. So if they want to skirmish early, they will have the tools to do so, Achilleos. Funny how that worked. Kova's like, all right, you guys aren't in the mood for that composition. We're just going to play a composition, and you can play it exactly the same as you did last game, only it will be much more successful this time around because you'll have the proper champions to do that with.
Faker also playing a champion that he plays a lot more than Jace.
That is also true.
So making it work so far. 2 kills for Faker, having a much better game compared to the last. Rod of Ages has been completed and will start stacking up. Also going for the Boots of Lucidity, so big CDR build for Faker coming up in the near future, looks like. Whereas Crown just completing the Natcher's Tooth. Now with an all magic mantle, probably looking for the Abyssal Scepter in his next big item purchase. Stitch being engaged on nice double pulverize there from Wolf as he goes in. The teleport coming through as well from Duke. Can they get the catch? Could throw out the W, but he's pretty far out. Oh wow, nice pinch from Blank on the backside. The Fate's Call will save Wraith's life, but Stitch falls all the same. Both summoners blown, and he still goes down.
Yeah, Faker canceled his TP. Didn't actually end up showing up to that fight. They already had nailed down the kill, and No opportunity to get it onto Wraith since he had already used the Fate's Call at the time that Stitch had died, and tower's going down awful fast.
Yep. SK Telecom looking much more on point and in form here in this game at the moment. Let's see, it's going to be the Essence Reaver has been completed for Bang. Boots of Lucidity as well for him, so not going for the Swifties. Just looking for big CDR for that Lucian. So he can keep throwing out these callings, work through these waves.
And I like the way SK Telecom's playing this game. Samsung has what is probably the stronger team fight composition, and especially in the late game. But instead, they're just making use of their teleports, making use of their strong burst damage from Lysandra, Graves, and Lucian to create picks and then take objectives off of that. And that's led them to a healthy gold lead here in game number 2.
3.8 thousand up at the moment, so not too shabby here from SK Telecom. Ambition, though, still trying to scale up. Just gets his 10th stack here for Devour, so not going to be coming out anytime soon. Just a third of the way there. Still has to farm up. Unable to get any real kills since he picked up the... Unable to get any kills since he picked up the Devourer. So not going to be gaining stacks quite as quickly as he might like. And second, Rift Herald being denied as well. Just keeps him down even further.
Having a tough time this game.
Yes, he is. Went ham in the first one. And now they're going to have Ambition assume the submission position.
Not out of it yet, though. Samsung can just hold on to this gold differential and keep their turrets, their remaining turrets up. They're still going to have a lot of opportunities in the late game just because of the amount of damage that SKT is going to have to do to them. And Lysandra just isn't that great in the late game. So people start to get that QSS. Of course, you need to transition into ulting yourself, which doesn't provide anywhere near as much sustained damage over a long team fight as the Azir does.
But the Lysandra will be really key in fights layered with the W from Duke. If they can stack those on top of each other,
ooh, that's hard.
That is going to destroy Samsung.
That's true, but it's also really hard to do that.
Yeah.
Really hard. So, Faker to come up to this top side, trying to punish them for being overextended.
Take the glacial path forward, catches Ambition with the frozen tip, gets knocked by the pulverize. Will be able to drop the Lamps Respite in time, but nobody is nearby on the side of Samsung to help them out. And Duke coming up to the top, Ambition getting exhausted on the run. Here comes Blank and Duke from the backside. Kuve trying to be that tanky front line and keep Ambition safe, but he can only do so much. Ambition gonna go down, Blank finding the kill. Now Kuve on the run, has to blow the flash. Glacial Fissure from Wraith as well to help with the disengage, but that's still a Kindred down, and another kill picked up for SK Telecom.
Yeah, Duke back on the split push now too. Gone for the Iceborne Gauntlet. It's the second completed item, so he's got some great wave clear now between the Time Winder and the Bomby Cinder, and of course the Iceborne, so that's going to be nice for any kind of split push he wants to set up. Bang just sitting back and waiting for these minion waves. Did use the culling to actually clear one of those out in the mid lane, prevent Crown from taking that mid lane tier 1 turret, but it's just one kill. When all is said and done, Faker still doesn't have the burst damage to actually annihilate Kindred, even with the help of the knock-up from Wolf before the ult can go down. But he will. He will.
He will indeed. See, he is also getting the Abyssal Scepter. So we're just going to cut through that MR that Ambition is getting from the Hex Drinker a little bit. Open him out quite nicely. Abyssal Scepter has since been completed by Crown, however. We'll see where he wants to take this build path next. Could go for, I mean, really any number of items. Ryleigh's Crystal Scepter
is what
I think we'll see. But you never know, could just be looking to go aggressive, get something like a Rabbidan's Death Cap. I don't know. It could go anywhere, but it's probably the Ryleigh's.
In this composition against SK Telecom's amount of burst, you're definitely going to want the Ryleigh's. Kallista's going to be the one doing a lot of the late game damage, of course, with the Hurricane and the ability to hit everybody. So you really want to get all those slows and to maximize the number of Hurricane targets for Kallista. I think he will go Ryleigh's.
We'll have to see when he goes for his next back.
Bang went Shiv instead of Rapid Fire Cannon. I don't know about that one. Does allow him to clear those waves faster, which, to be clear, is a concern from SK Telecom. They don't have very much ranged wave clear, just that Lysandra Q, because, of course, Time Winder's going to be falling off without any kind of AP as the game goes on.
Yeah.
Will be a less reliable option.
SKT may be looking for some kind of bait in the jungle, but not going to get spotted out. But this bot lane's really far forward, could be collapsed on. Looks like SKT, however, are going to go ahead and pay some attention to this mid lane as the wave was getting ready to move into the tower. Could be the TP play coming in, and it will be. Double teleport coming on the backside from Faker and Duke. Ambition, Stitch, and Wraith with really nowhere to go.
Geez.
This is pretty hopeless. Kuve gonna match teleport Crown on a really late roam down. Kuve locks up Wolf, who has that Alistar ultimate pop. Faker going in, locks him down. Ambition gonna be the target. The Lamb's Respite gets dropped to try to keep him alive, but it's not gonna do enough. That's all 3 members going down. Now Wraith and Crown having to hightail it out of here. Faker going to chase forward, but they get the flash all the same away from that Braum. Crown just not in the right place at the right time. And maybe still not out of danger. Nope, just dashes away with the Sand Soldiers.
Well, how could he be? He doesn't have the TP in this game, and SK Telecom punishing Samsung for overextending, using both of their TPs to set up that play and really make it work. Samsung really didn't have much of a chance right there.
Oh, maybe going for the dive. They throw out the parallel convergence. Not able to connect, though. Crown's just going to have to run straight into the jungle. And that's going to be the mid-tier 1 falling here. So now 5 turrets to 3. SK Telecom with a massive gold lead, and not even 20 minutes in.
Yeah, it's looking like the exact opposite of last game. Both teams have shown a good ability to snowball so far in this series. SKT doing a better job of playing to their win conditions in this game, playing those early skirmishes well and translating them into a big gold lead. Samsung so perpetually on the back foot here, not able to respond to the double TP plays. And I mean, they tried to just wait long enough for Crown to get there, but remember, Crown is walking through a jungle that is completely dark to him, so he is going to be a little bit uncomfortable with that situation. Lamb's Respite goes down, but it's just not enough to save anybody. As soon as that drops, so does the Frozen Tomb right on Stitch's head.
Yep.
And without the QSS or even a Hurricane right now, he's pretty much useless in team fights.
Yeah, and he is just falling further and further behind Bang. 2-0-5. Now we can see another BF sword in his pocket. Went for the call build as well. Was able to get away with that and not get punished whatsoever. Stitch just went straight for the Blade of the Ruined King, and now going for the Hurricane. Like you said, not doing any damage to really anybody on the side of SK Telecom.
No, you need both of those items before you start doing damage. So here we go.
Big time. The pulverizing. The Sand Tower is there, but
my.
it's not going to do a whole lot. Faker goes in. A huge amount of burst onto him. Lamb's Respite not going to keep him alive once again. Stitch barely makes it out with his life, having to use the flash. But Ambition falls all the same. Crown, both summoners down now as well. This is Samsung just crumbling under the pressure that SKT are continuously pushing down on them.
Yeah, Duke has to be careful because he has no MR here against this Azir. Decided to go for double armor items instead. Protect him against Ambition and Crown, as well as push those waves, but not really going to be very useful in the lane against the Azir, or perhaps even in some of these team fights. But yeah, SK Telecom just looking dominant in their engages. Great setup there from Faker, who has been much more on point this game than he was in game number 1.
Yep, that's going to be third Dragon now going over to SK Telecom with just under 22 minutes. So should it come to it, you can see the fifth coming out at about 34. Something tells me SKT might just be able to close out this game before that happens, unless Samsung can do some crazy things.
I think you're right, Achilles. I think you're right. So it's all about Baron now. SK Telecom certainly can do that rapidly. Still have to be a bit cautious. Don't want to get caught in there. Once the Callista has the Hurricane, and Crown can insert a bunch of Sand Soldiers right into the pit for some additional poke damage.
Stitch, though, late on the Hurricane and going to be even later on a QSS, so even if he gets that item,
it's really
Faker
bad.
can just burst him 100 to 0. Lamb's Respite will only do so much. We've seen it in these last fights. It's just not enough to keep anybody alive.
And Faker's been really good about holding his ultimate until that ability is already down, and then they just blow somebody up immediately afterward in the team fight.
Yep. See, though, Giant's Belt has been picked up, so it will be the Rylai's Crystal Scepter coming in for Crown. It's still everybody on Samsung just falling further and further behind.
Back to Baron baiting. Well,
Oh, what a
the
wonderful
TPs are
life.
up, so let's see some more diving, SKT. I believe in you.
I mean, they have Duke with this Echo coming around the backside. Emperor's Divide gets thrown out really early by Crown. Not really going to block anybody in. Wolf does take a bit of damage. Still has both of his summoners and that ultimate available. So still in a pretty safe spot. He's going to have to spam that Triumphant Roar. Try to get himself back up to full. Ambition, though, getting jumped on. The Frozen Tomb comes down. Lambs Respite as well into the calling. Can they catch him? No, collateral damage is not going to connect. Bang! Takes a lot from those Sand Soldiers and has to dash away. Duke on the backside. Where are you going?
He was just providing zones on the backside with parallel convergence and got caught out right there. Wasn't in sync with the rest of his team on their retreat.
Yep, did have to use his flash to get out of there. But still makes it out alive, so Samsung not able to pick up really anything.
Yeah, the issue that SK Telecom is running into right now is even with this
Oh, wow. This is really aggressive on the ground.
by ground.
Yep. What was that about issues? They're making some plays happen here. Crown getting caught out with that headbutt pulverize. Here comes Duke.
Well,
And Blank gets the kill.
Duke was not even needed.
Yep. He got the assist.
He's closer to Baron, so I guess that's a big plus as they're going to try and at least bait it to see if they can force a fight right now.
I think we can just take it. There's no Lambs Respite available for Ambition. He'd have to go on a suicide mission to be able to take this
An
one
ambition
away.
suicide mission.
The
you
Ambition
say?
suicide mission. Great throws out the Glacial Fissure. Ambition going to get engaged on, taking a lot of damage, and he just gets melted. Duke coming up with the kill. Exhaust on the Stitch, who just can only jump so far. He's trying to body block with the Unbreakable. Might actually be able to make it out of here as he's now free of that exhaust, but I don't think the same could be said for Kube. His 3 stacks. Wraith going to go down. Stitch with really nowhere to go. Flash headshot pulverize there from Wolf. Will catch him. He falls. And this is just SK Telecom running away with the game. 14-1 in kills. Up now 10,000 gold. And probably just going to go straight back over to Baron take it.
Yeah, they need that Baron because their siege is actually quite poor in this game. Look how low range they are on their auto attacks. And 2 melee champions, Graves, Lissandra, and Lucian. That's not awesome when it comes to taking down turrets. So they have to have those extra minions there to buy themselves a little more time and close that distance.
Oh, just for good measure, Faker TPing in on the backside here. Wolf getting engaged on. Doesn't have that ultimate available, but will be able to run out. Duke having to use his ultimate as well. The Baron goes down, gets confirmed by Blank, and that's going to be Crown falling. Kuve is able to kill Bang, but he is pretty much in no man's land, trying to kite away as fast as he possibly can. Goes in onto Duke, can get the kill. Now Blank may be in a bad spot. Samsung trying to fire back as best as they can, but there's still 3 members alive on the side of SK Telecom. Just hold on to those Baron buffs. They will be able to do so.
They pay a minor price, but at least they trade evenly. Samsung comes in, takes a good boost, a couple Baron buffs, but not really ultimately going to mean a whole lot. Stitch finally gets his Hurricane, but still no QSS. Gonna try and come in here. That's a whiff of a Braum ultimate, unfortunately, and Samsung really can't fight this without the Lambs Respite, which was still on cooldown by the time they went in there. Ambition, an easy target. Bang just chasing him down with the help of the rest of his team. Stitch makes a valiant attempt to escape by using his hops
trying to run
on the minion waves, but Wolf says, I still have Flash.
Yep.
And
Flash he does.
That's the end of the Stitch story.
Yep. And it's not looking too good. Have to wonder what was really the thought. Obviously this isn't I'll have to maybe hold my thought. Maybe not. I was gonna say it's not obviously the key to SK Telecom's victory here, but I still want to know what the thought process was behind swapping Stitch in instead of poor JJ just sticking it out. Interesting decision by Samsung. Overall, not much of anything working out for them.
Yeah, although Core JJ would not have saved this particular game. SK Telecom has just been faster. Perhaps he would not have overextended in that bottom lane, which gave SKT quite a large number of kills, but in any event, Crown also overextending in the mid lane, providing many opportunities for SK Telecom to TP in behind them and lock them up and then take objectives afterwards.
Yep. This is overall just poor decision making by the side of Samsung, and SK Telecom looking more like themselves. You can see this is going to be a 4th Dragon coming in here at just about 28 minutes. 6 more could still see that 5th Dragon. SK Telecom have not broken the inhibitor line quite just yet, but still have a bit of that Baron buff left. We'll see if they're able to make anything happen with the vestiges of it.
I think we're gonna have to wait for 5 dragons here, Achilles.
So be it.
That's what I think. Unless they can die, they're willing to dive at this stage of the game.
I think they are. Got about 20% of that buff left.
It's still super hard to dive an inhibitor turret against a Brahmin and a Seer.
Yeah.
It's probably not worth the risk. And when it comes down to it, their siege composition, their sieging is pretty bad with this composition. You might as well try and go for perhaps another dragon or the next Baron or whatever you can get, but base, a tough nut to crack.
Well, moving these Baron-powered minions in. Wolf is going to go in and get a double pop-up. Crown gets locked down. Lamb's Respite does drop in time to keep him alive for the time being. Still going to fall in the end of the collateral damage. Kube maybe looking like he's going to be the next one as he is just sitting in the front line taking all of the damage. No, it's going to be Ambition as Bang goes in. Another Pulverize comes through. Wraith gonna fall. Kube, the only member left alive on the opposite side of the base from where he wants to be. He's going to go down. The tower's going to follow. And this is just going to be SKT looking like they're going to take game 2.
So the dive comes through. They're able to get onto Crown before he can actually preemptively use his Emperor's Divide. They find the pick they need on the dive, and they're going to take the game.
And they are. So game 3 now. SKT versus Samsung. Samsung back on the red side. Might be their key to victory, but SKT are looking pretty unstoppable after this game. 7 times the amount of kills of Samsung. And there's a huge gold lead by the end of that one. Samsung just not looking anything like themselves
no,
from the first game.
We know how Ambition likes to play. He likes to farm for the majority of the early game, and if you start trying to force these fights while Ambition just wants to farm, oftentimes he won't be there for some of these crucial engagements. And so double TP shown to be an effective strategy against Samsung's play style.
Yep.
Really mixing it up, SK Telecom, trying something quite different from their strategy in game number 1, going hard in the early game as opposed to waiting to scale with a poke composition. And it works for them, but Samsung here, they try and play for the late game this time. Big late game team fighting composition. Can't quite get there after some overextensions cost them quite a few kills.
Yep. Bang. Doing a hell of a lot of damage. Crown did as well. Crown did about 1,000 less than, but it didn't really seem like it because Crown was never really in these fights.
Well, he did a lot of damage to Faker in lane is part of it, because of course any poke champion like Corki or Azir in the mid lane, you're going to be picking up quite a bit of damage on it. And we'll see if Samsung can bounce back. 2 one-sided games played so far. Impressive win for each of Samsung and SK Telecom.
Yep. Do or die time for Samsung. Want this win. We'll see what happens when we come back with game 3.